Yes, yes, yes. What is up? What is up, Patreon family? Maybe eventually, like rest of our YouTube family, because I've released I think all of these episodes as of late. Like I've just been doing that, sharing the love, of course, trying to get more people enticed to Patreon. Of course, this is our Game of Thrones trending now edition, and of course, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, he's back.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Yes, it's Fu. Fu's back, guys, from his vacation with Rob in the apple orchards, frolicking about. That's in my story. That's how it happened.
Damn, I wish I was with Rob on a.
Apple orchard.
That's gonna sound mad gay. I was about to say on an island in Scotland.
Oh, that was great.
Hashtag pause.
Good times. Good times. You guys go like a bread and breakfast. It's okay.
Yep,
It'd be great.
one of those cute little rooms.
Yeah. Oh, out on the Poconos. Anyways, Fu, how you doing, man? Before we jump into Game of Thrones, The Bells, season 8, episode 5. The I think in sort of respective to other seasons, this would be the episode 8. In sort of hindsight, and I think for a lot of people, it will be one of the most divisive episodes in Game of Thrones history, maybe TV history. Maybe for a slight minority of us, we actually liked it. And we're now put in a position where we have to defend some of the bad writing of the entire season, when really this episode maybe was not truly indicative of that. But however, Fu, how are you, man? Doing good?
Doing good, man. I just had my son's pre-K graduation today, so he's out of school, gearing up for a kindergartner. Shit's getting real.
Just terrifying.
Oh my god, because you got to be up every day at like 6 a.m. So you start thinking, you're like, I don't want to wake up like that.
And you don't go to bed till
no, man,
like 2 or 3 a.m. every night, man.
Oh, it's like, this is not the life for me.
This is
I'm gonna have to get a mad high paying job so I can just hire someone to take my kid to school.
That'd be cool.
One of those. Yeah. But oh, my mom's trying to call me.
Of Mama Fugatti.
Yeah. So everything is good. I just got back from training. Irving was pretty crazy. I'm glad to be back on the show.
Well, sounds truly, truly exciting in the most opposite ways.
It's been a lot going on, man. My grandfather is really sick. My dad is in the hospital again. That's why my mom was trying to call me. And so it just never stops. This is the year that keeps on giving. It's a fucking atrocious year so far. And I'm just thankful I got good people to get through it with, because it's this year is trying me for sure.
Well, speaking of trying people, this season has been trying the fans of the show. I don't really like the whole scene by scene breakdown, to be honest. I don't feel like we need to do that.
No.
So let's give our overall thoughts about the episode. We really haven't talked about that much, honestly. I think we both agree that we liked the episode, broadly speaking, maybe. Obviously, there's individual things we can get into that maybe we don't like, and I know there's things I don't like in the episode. But for me personally, this was a really fun episode in all the most horrifying and terrific ways possible. This was truly devastating on a proportion that I don't think we have seen yet. I think multiple times I've sort of asked for them to, when it comes to big battle scenes or big set pieces, show us the scope of it. And they did really show us the true scope of what happened here, which is Dany went mad queen. And, I think that's maybe an oversimplification of what happened. And even that, I think, is just the most divisive thing that we have seen of this show thus far. I thought maybe Sansa getting raped, that was going to be the most divisive thing. Nope. This is somehow. Don't know why. But she just burned down King's Landing, destroyed it. I'm trying to think of any major characters we lost other than the Hound in the Clegane Bowl, which I gotta say I personally loved. Again,
Yeah,
divisive.
personally loved it.
I
Thought
know
it was great.
I know it's divisive amongst some people.
Well, we lost Jamie, we lost Cersei, we
Yes,
potentially
lost
lost
Euron.
Euron.
No, we
Well,
didn't.
and
Not potentially, we did.
I'm guessing he's gone.
Yeah. There's no way.
Qyburn,
That was awesome.
the Hound, the Mountain.
That's about it. None of the major key
No.
figures, except for maybe Jamie and Cersei. Obviously, I think they sort of count as main characters, of course. And then that, I would say, is probably the ultimate divisive part for me about this episode is that story arc. But overall, like I said, I liked the episode. I thought this was this is going to probably rank for me in a top 15 range for episodes for Game of Thrones, maybe top 10. It was just when Dany was destroying the city, I was literally mouth agape, just in pure shock and terror at that moment.
Because at first you didn't think it was going to happen. Like she goes, they have that fucking awesome scene where she blows the gate open and takes out the whole Golden Company, basically. And you're like, yo, she's going to do it. Like the way they wanted to do it. The bells are going to ring. Like you can tell that like the guys drop their swords. You're like, well, how are they going to end this? It's going to have to end with her like hunting down Cersei in the Red Keep or whatever. But then she goes crazy.
And even then, when she first sets off, the whole scene was, I think, was great. I mean, Miguel Sapochnik again nails it in every single fucking way. But the scene of just you have Jon, Davos, and Grey Worm with the army, sort of in a Mexican standoff with the Lannister army at that time, right? Yeah, that's not the Golden Company; they were long gone.
Yeah.
Dany's sort of perched on Drogon on top of the wall. They're waiting for the bells. Cersei's atop the Red Keep. There's this just palpable sense of terror. Everyone's yelling, "Ring the bells! Ring the bells!" They finally do, and there's like I honestly had like a whew, okay, because I thought it was gonna go crazy there. Then all of a sudden, you see the look in Dany's eyes where she doesn't relax, she doesn't calm down, and the way the camera angle works, it pans to the Red Keep, like that's the center shot when it goes from Dany finally taking off with Drogon, and something's gonna happen. It's looking at the Red Keep. You don't realize how bad it's gonna get. And then it takes the angle from people running. And you see then Drogon light them up. And you're like, oh no. This is far worse than what I thought. I thought it was just going to destroy the Red Keep. I honestly thought that's where it was going to go. Nope. Far, far worse. Women, children, anyone. Poor, young, rich, old. Doesn't matter.
So here's something that I thought.
Crazy.
And no one else really has made mention of. Like she was a kid, when her dad was killed, and there was a war there in the city, right?
Yep.
Or a battle, and so the bells probably rang then. You would assume, right? Once everything was over, the bells would ring. So my thought, and this is obviously fan logic and me doing legwork for the writers. My thought is, she was calming down. The bells went off. And she has had a childhood trauma that brought her to that point. Like,
no, I don't think. I think you're.
Yeah, you think I'm doing too much work for the writers to explain it?
Way too much.
I want it to be something logical.
I think that it's Occam's razor. I think she was going there with the intent to burn everything down.
Yeah,
honestly,
she just
like the bells didn't matter. Like she was gone. The second Jon rebuked her advances in Dragonstone, she said, "Let them fear me."
Yeah,
we should have known then. It was done. Like the game was over. That was the last sort of human connection she had. He said, "No, you're my queen," but that's about it. We're not gonna get freaky here, Aunt. I would have liked there to be a little more dialogue about why, because I know we know why, but I know it's awkward, but people would actually talk about that, I think. And we're
like why hasn't he explained himself to her at all? Like, just for me, I understand like no one knows that I'm this person except for like a couple people, but for me, I can't do this. Like I'll serve you. I'm gonna do everything.
But then
You
again,
know,
John historically is not the best with his
no.
dialogue, and I think that's a character sort of
Even when he bailed on
deci-
Egret, it was like shitty.
yeah, it's a character. It's a character decision. Like he's not the most well-spoken guy. He just isn't that guy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily maybe a writing issue per se, as some other issues are in this episode. But digressing, no, I just think that she was gone. Like she was dead set. Drakkar. She was gonna burn them all. It did not matter. These people did. These people. She came. And remember, I forget. There was a. I wish I had it up, but I mean, it's been so much time now since the episode. But there's some great like Twitter threads about like sort of the character development of Daenerys, and I just think that her idea of herself is so deity-like. She has such a god complex, and they've written that in the show. There's a reason there's the symbolism there, because she believes that. She believes she's the breaker of chains. She believes she's all these things.
Well, I called it for a long time that she would go Mad Queen. And I just assumed because she's one of those figures where it's like, you're either going to love me or die. And that's how she's been with almost every group of people. It's like, you're either going to love me enough to turn on your masters and kill yourself and potentially like die for me, or I'm going to kill you. Like, that's just kind of how I feel like that's how she's been the entire time. She's just been lucky enough that like in a lot of the other areas, there were so few masters, whereas like King's Landing's people are completely different. They've been, they're basically like abused dogs at this point by the Lannisters, And so they're never going to turn on Cersei, because every time anyone's turned on the Lannisters somehow pulled it out, and then they were fucked, So I don't know. I just saw that coming for a long time. So I wasn't upset about this episode at all.
No, of course not. And on top of that, Dany, she did not get the reaction she sought coming over to the Seven Kingdoms. She just didn't from the very beginning. On top of that, she lost every single human connection. She's a damaged individual, a very young individual with a lot of power. Historically speaking, young people that are born in a dynasty that is wrought with incest, that have god complexes, usually do very despicable things throughout history. Like Caligula, Nero, any of the pharaohs, Alexander the Great. You go down the list of people throughout history that have done awful, atrocious things and were deities amongst their people in a sense, or at least they thought they were. So I think this is just, again, Martin plays a really good way, because I do think this is going to happen in the books. I don't think this is a Benioff and Weiss branch off from the story. I just think that's impossible to do at this point. I think it just matches history in a way. If Alexander the Great or Caligula had dragons, they would have burnt down Rome or Alexandria. Like, that would have happened.
Yeah.
So I have fundamentally no issue with it.
And there's no way Martin would have been like, yeah, I'm going to write Daenerys a completely different way in the book, but it's cool if you guys go this route. There's I just don't see that happening.
No, I don't.
Not
at all. It's too much of a major fucking plot point.
Yeah.
For them to go, we're just going to do this one instead. But again, I thought it's been 8 seasons build up to this, to be honest. We've had visions of her with a destroyed Red Keep with Ash. We've seen time and time again the foreshadowing of what she is innately. Fire and blood. How many times has she said that line specifically to destroy her enemies, and been ruthless on top of that? So I thought, again, it's just good character development. I thought it makes sense. It's gonna be interesting to see how they wrap it up in the next episode because I think she's obviously gonna die. I think it's probably gonna be Arya. I think that's pretty easy setup now. I think it's pretty obvious setup. Let's see if they try to subvert that. I hope they don't. I think it's that makes sense. Just like Dany being Mad Queen, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Jon killing her and then being king doesn't make sense. That would be where we would have an issue with. That would be against character type. Just like Jaime all of a sudden throwing away 7 seasons of character growth to go down and die like that. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that was the weirdest thing, but I think I've always just assumed that
it works within the episode.
Yeah.
I'll say that. It works within the episode. Even the Euron fight scene. I know that had major issues with people. Euron just is the lone survivor from Dany fucking up the Iron Fleet, and he happens to swim to that same exact spot that Jaime comes at that same exact time. Of course, that's how plotting works.
That's a weak ass argument because it's that same exact spot that was a way into the keep that each major person probably knew about.
Yep.
So that's exactly where he went. I mean, you could argue they might not have shown up at the same time, but that's where they would have gone. Why Tyrion put a boat there for a fucking reason.
Agree.
Right?
And my only issue with the Jaime arc has been the last 2 episodes predominantly, especially the last episode. I ranted a lot more about that in the last episode because it didn't work within the episode. The tonal shift within Jaime and their Brienne relationship was literally within one scene. While this one, it's the same character arc in a sense, carried over, so I don't have much of an issue with it. My issue is that they started in the last episode. He shouldn't have gone down in this manner to begin with. It should have been him and Brienne going down together, and they play on that. But no, for some reason they didn't do that. Because you could still get Jaime in the Red Keep with Cersei and have that moment, in a sense, without him sacrificing the Brienne character arc. And I think they just got lazy with the writing of that, to be honest. But again, within this episode isolated, Jaime and Arya is sort of what's the sort of best term to use? They're sort of trying to get away from danger, or for Jaime's sake, trying to get into danger. The single cam, single shot scenes they had with Arya, fantastic. Same with Jaime. There was just really good moments where I was invested in Arya, what's happening with her, trying to get out of there, because that was horrific. Oh my god, that was amazing. And Jaime, I was completely invested in how he was going to get into the Red Keep, what he was going to do there. Wasn't happy with what he did there, but hell, shit happens.
Yep.
But let's get.
It's not unbelievable though. That's the thing. Nothing that happened in the episode where I heard other people say oh, it's the worst episode ever. It ruins the series. I don't even know if I want to watch the finale. I'm like, are you guys fucking it's not unbelievable that Dany became the Mad Queen.
Nope.
It's not unbelievable that Jon is kind of not vocal throughout the whole thing. It's just people are I would have loved to hear more from Jon. He only had a couple lines. Jon's not the speaker of the series. He's had a few really good moments, but he's never been the very vocal guy. And then Jaime going back to Cersei made sense. Because he's always said that all that matters is those two.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a consistent message throughout the story. But no one, to say no one, but a lot of people did. Tyrion and Jaime's moment in the tent was one of the better moments in the entire series.
Probably gonna grab him and Emmy next time they get up for awards. I would assume for Peter Dinklage, because that was awesome. That was another great Peter Dinklage performance. Just again, his overall, the look of horror on his face as he realized, oh my god, Dany's losing control. My worst fears are happening right now.
Yeah.
You instantly also were as horrified as Tyrion, just because of how good that acting was. But we've talked about a little bit. We've addressed the negative of the episode, I think, enough in a sense.
Yeah.
What's some positives? Like, what have you loved about the episode the most?
The Clegane Bowl was perfect for me. Like, I was worried how they were going to do it and if it was going to make sense. I was really hoping that they didn't have him kill the Hound somehow. There was a moment where I was like, fuck, he's going to kill the Hound and then die because of this fucking keep falling down type thing.
Yep.
But it paid off. It was phenomenal to me. I thought the greatest scene is when Rory, the actor for the Hound, when he laughed, because like at that point he's like, man, I am just a cursed fucking human being. Like I'm never going to get my revenge, And he just starts laughing and you're like, oh dude, this is going to go south. And then he starts to smash his head. I was like, oh no, man. I was brutal too.
I was shocked they pull off the mask and everything like that. Like when they start doing that, I'm like, oh, they're doing it. This is like a fucking boss battle. Like hit the pieces of armor off to like expose the weak points. Like that's what it was. Nope, no weak points. I don't know what the fuck he is. However, I will say this: really upset that somehow the Mountain is harder to kill than Night King.
Yeah, no doubt.
Or that he got like a more epic fight scene than the Night King. A little bit disappointing. Oh well. Shit happens.
All I could think is if they fought and he wasn't Zombie Mountain, the Hound would have wrecked him.
Yeah.
The Hound's a badass.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
The Hound's easily the best fighter probably in the Seven Kingdoms, right?
I would imagine.
Oh no, Brienne beat him.
Yeah, Brienne did fuck him up.
Damn, Brienne's the best.
Brienne's a boss.
Wow.
Take that for all you people who believe that Daenerys going Mad Queen is somehow a shot at females. Like, there have been such strong female characters on the show. I don't know how people are taking it to that place. Like,
okay, you have, because we're true leftists, so we can make fun of liberals.
Yeah,
we have like the Hillary Clinton supporters that like for all of the 2016 election was like, ooh, slay queen, for like Hillary Clinton memes of Dany and shit like that, and like, oh shit, she's destroying entire cities of women and children. Oh my god, that was a really bad poly comparison in hindsight. Yeah. And
even though that's what Hillary Clinton's done most of her life, but I mean that's cool too.
The U.S. government does
exactly. So, but I didn't feel like this was some way to like subvert women or anything, right?
No, that's ridiculous.
I'm like, what's wrong with you guys? It's just this is where her character was going.
I think there's a legit criticism of how people of color are treated on the show, and just overall, probably in George R. R. Martin's source material. Like, there's issues there as well, guys. Yeah. Like, it's not just Benioff and Weiss. The source material itself has distinct issues, but it's written by a white male, so it's going to have that perspective always throughout the writing. So that's why white men are predominantly the people of the story. But again, that's an issue so much throughout television. So it's I'm not going to say it's a minor issue because that's just wrong. But it's in this show, it's just not as much of an issue anymore. Let's be honest. There's one more episode left. Like, we know Benioff and Weiss aren't the greatest when it comes to dealing with people of color in terms of television. We also know George R. R. Martin's not the best writer when it comes to it.
Yeah,
we know that. We've talked about it especially for the book readers, decades now. People have talked, like book readers talk about how much he has screwed over Dorne time and time again in the books. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah, one of the most amazing fucking houses.
No
shit
love
on the whole time.
No love, and same with the books too. Like they don't get any love in the books. A little bit more, but not really.
So my question too is, and this is more like next, but isn't this supposed to be like a battle and a half? Like an episode and a half of a battle? So are we expecting some kind of
I don't know.
Battle at the end?
I don't know. I think that was maybe just something that we heard that maybe wasn't true. Looking back on it, That's the best thing I can think of, because the battle's over. The battle was over when those bells rang. Danny just committed genocide. Like, that was just the difference. There was no more battle after that, really.
It's gonna start off with like a Tyrion execution, man. Oh,
but see, that's the thing that I will be upset about, because that will make no sense, because Tyrion plan did work. She ignored it. The bells rang.
I think that she's just gonna execute him for treason,
just because.
for letting Jamie go and all that. I just feel like that's. I also, if it is supposed to be like a kind of a 1-to-1 for the Battle of Tewksbury, that's kind of what happens. Like 2 days later, they execute all kinds of people. So I'm imagining like that's how Tyrion's going to go out.
Probably. Man, imagine Tyrion goes down by dragon fire.
Oh,
Like Varys. So sad. So sad. But what I love about the episode is just, I mean, overall, again, the style of the episode, like the destruction of the episode, how it was filmed. Again, the Arya scene in particular, like that was amazing. And if for those that don't know, if haven't been like aren't aware of it, aren't as geeked up on it as maybe we are, look at all of Miguel Sapochnik's big battles. There is a single shot or single track scene in all of them, where we follow a person throughout a entire moment through multiple scenes, multiple sort of set pieces. John, it was that one in Winterfell when he goes through the castle and he sees all his friends being fucked up. He's running away from the dragon, all that stuff. That's a single track scene. Hardhome had that with John in the battle with all the cavalry in the middle. Remember that? Amazing scene. I think that one was like 2.5 minutes long. That was insane to do in a single shot, single track. And I don't know how long this one was, but it was horrifying.
it was long.
It was long and it was brutal in every way. And I thought at some point I was going to get desensitized by the violence and just the pure destruction. But then they brought back that mother and child that you saw at the very beginning. And Arya's the one that told him to leave. And it's like, oh, no, they all got fucked up. And I don't know necessarily if like that building got fucked up. I'm pretty sure it didn't. So I'm pretty sure that's one of those moments that Arya can go back in her head and go, if I just let them stay, all those people would still be alive.
Yeah.
But God, it was just amazing. And plus, obviously, really, really on the nose, maybe a little bit obtuse in a way. But the pale horse with Arya, thought that was good. Obviously, imagery. Like, I know it's really on the nose. It's like it's the pale horse of death. Like, no one needs to really go into depth about the imagery and the themes of that. We understand it.
Someone was like,
But it
I
worked.
think it means something about purity and how she is giving up her assassin ways after she turned away from killing Cersei. I'm like, that is not what the fuck that means. She was looking at Dany the entire time like, this bitch needs to die, when she was running through the streets. And that's a cool transition too. Remember when she first saw the dragons in Winterfell and she was like enamored, like these things are badass. And now her take on the dragon at that point was, oh my God, that thing is scary as fuck and we need to kill that bitch.
Yes. Yes.
Like, that was a pretty cool way that they were able to really make that feel real. I think they deserve a lot more credit for this episode than they're getting.
It was one of the better episodes of the entire show, I'll say. And I know that might not be on point with the talking points of like Game of Thrones, Twitter, and or YouTube, because you look at all of the channels that talk about Game of Thrones, they're not happy about this episode. And it's like, man, like channels that I really like Angry Joe, Jeremy Johns, What Culture, like no one seems super, super high on this episode. There's some that are like, no, it's decent, but no one likes it or no one loves it. And I thought it was really good. Again, I thought everything post the bell ringing is perfect. Like, it is great television. and it's probably unmatched in nearly all of cinema. Like on like the scope of destruction, like there's over 1 million people in that city, and she burns half of it. So hundreds of thousands of people died in a single episode in television. I don't think there's anything close to that, right? Like I can't think of
No.
anything.
And the way they showed it, like it was really like a moment where you were almost like your breath was taken away when Arya tries to save the little girl and the mom after the mom gets hit by the Dothraki. And then the mom's like, no, just save my daughter. And then Arya's like trying to pull her away and she's like, no, and runs back to her mom. And then Arya kind of dives behind the wall. And when she looks back out, it's like they're just clutching each other. It reminded me of like the scenes from Pompeii when they dug up like some of the people in Pompeii when you knew people knew they were going to die. And so they just literally were like trying to comfort each other and they just like got just decimated. They just did a really good job on making you feel how fucked up what Dany did was,
Agreed.
because it was just, she fucking was a wrecking ball.
Yeah, I mean that was. I'm still blown away. Like even this many days out about that destruction. Like I didn't think it was gonna be like that. I didn't think it was gonna be that to that scope. Especially when you go from the feeling of pure, not joy, but like, yeah, we're winning finally. Like she's destroying the Iron Fleet. Gates are blown up. Golden Company is destroyed. And then you have the scene of obviously our thumbnail of Jon, Grey Worm, and Davos marching up with the army. That scene is amazing.
To that baller ass music.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah.
Fucking up people on the side, and you're thinking we're gonna win. Like
Yeah.
this is gonna be it, and then nope. Well, they won. We did. We did win. It's not in the way that our heroes, in a sense, wanted. But again, love the episode. I really don't have much else to say. I mean, we can keep it pretty short, honestly, if you want, Fu.
Yeah. I mean, just what's your thoughts on the next one?
Man,
What do you think?
I think the only thing I don't have figured out really is how they kill the dragon. Because the dragon
Or if they have to.
No, the dragon has to go.
What if the
dragon.
Someone made a point that said, yeah, the dragon has to go, right? Because of the destruction. But the dragon is not within its own control. So I don't know. But someone said something about what if she tries to have the dragon kill Jon, but the dragon doesn't listen to her because Jon is a Targaryen as well and a higher ranking Targaryen. I don't buy that, but that would be a pretty big twist if that happens. It almost wouldn't make sense though.
That's why.
Yeah.
No, like it's pretty straightforward. Like, I think at this point, like we're in the end game now. Like it's gonna be pretty straightforward about. I think the story. I think Arya's gonna kill Dany. I think they've set that up obviously. I'm thinking maybe Johnny takes out the dragon, and maybe like a mirror image to him trying to take out the ice dragon. But he is actually successful, and maybe he like tragically loses his life in the process, like Lyanna Mormont, something like that. I don't know, but you're gonna take out the dragon, you have to take out Dany, and then you have Unsullied and Dothraki in the mix. I'm assuming the North stays with Jon if anything breaks out. However, Jon did have to deal with his own men raping, killing people, and he had to kill some of his own men. So
that to me was like maybe foreshadowing that he gave up King of the North and told them that's their queen. And I'm wondering if that's going to backfire on him somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something there, but I mean, I think still we get Dany dying, we get the dragon dying, we get Jon dying, maybe Arya too. At this point, I don't know how she gets out of there. You know what I mean?
I almost wonder if like
I think we lose. I think we lose Jon, Dany, Dragon, Arya, Tyrion, Grey Worm, because Jon's killing Grey Worm.
Yeah, Jon's death killing Grey Worm. That's going to be like a good battle.
fuck, what else could happen? Davos, maybe. No, I think Davos lives. I think Davos can be like one of the few guys that makes it somehow. Because
And becomes king.
Because he always says, "I'm not a fighter,"
Yeah.
and he's somehow gonna make it. I think. Same with Sam. Like Sam's gonna be able to make it through all of this bullshit. Who else is there that's a major character I'm trying to think of that's down there still? I think that's pretty much it.
I was thinking, what if they really pull some shit and Dany just does keep the Iron Throne and just Jon gets murked and it doesn't end anyway how you would want it to, and she's just the Mad Queen at the end of all this.
I wouldn't mind that. It would be really poetic in a way that if she was the one all this time saying, "I'm gonna break the wheel," and she just solidifies the wheel.
Yeah.
She becomes the wheel. You know?
Yep.
There's something poetic in that. I wouldn't mind that at all.
I was thinking that might be how they go about it.
I'm the only thing I do not want is Jon being king.
Yeah, I don't want that either.
I don't want it. Even though they've like kind of set it up with him always saying, I don't want to be king. It's not for me. And they're still gonna give it to him like, no, I don't want it. No, cool.
That was like Arnold Schwarzenegger, John.
Was that really? That was bad.
Yeah.
I know that's bad.
Get to the dragon.
It's like Deontay Wilder trying to do a British accent when he comes out Borat. Oh my god. But yeah, I mean that's really all I have to say about it. We can keep it nice and short and sweet. We can come back in the morning, do a boxing show if you're free. Or are you
I could
working?
probably do one on my lunch if it's short enough. Yeah. I have to work tomorrow. I'm assuming we'll try to do a live fight chat tomorrow, though, right?
Oh yeah. Then how about this? Me and Rob will do a morning show, and then me and you do a live fight chat. Deontay Wilder, man. We gotta do one for that.
Yep.
Fuck, and we have Anue
Taylor
Rodriguez. Hey,
Taylor Baranchik.
Totally off topic. Have you seen recently that on boxing Twitter, I've seen a lot of fans come at Taylor for apparently that he said some pretty.
He's a racist.
Okay.
Taylor's mad racist.
Okay.
It actually makes me almost not like him.
No.
He's a big time
Islamophobe.
he hates immigrants. He hates immigrants. He hates Muslims. He's a xenophobe for sure.
Oh, so you follow him on Twitter and stuff, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm I gotta get rid of him, I think. He said something the other day or retweeted something, not a Nigel Farage thing, but something that was kind of basically that it's their right to close the borders and that Muslims should have to assimilate or something
God damn
weird, which is
Oh, come on. Now I'm totally going to Fiverr Baranchik now. I am.
right.
Fuck
But
yeah.
Baranchik's probably the same guy.
Baranchik doesn't talk. He doesn't voice those opinions.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. We're going to have fucking a Louisiana. We're going to have a Louisiana fucking Rougarou beating all their asses. And that's going to be great, man.
Dude, hunt down crocodiles in his off time.
Yo, the other day he posted another video of him jumping in a fucking pond, attacking a fucking alligator or crocodile. Stop.
Yeah, stop before you lose one of those hands, man.
Oh, damn it. He's going to end up like, what's his name from Happy Gilmore? What's his name?
Chubbs.
Yeah, Chubbs. R.I.P. Chubbs. But anyways, guys, you know where to find us. Hope you guys enjoyed this little tiny review. Obviously, we're going to do a lot. I think we're going to do a far longer one for the final show. I'm going to try to bring in maybe even a third host for that because...
Yeah, and we can probably do a kind of like we do for boxing. We can do a little show where we try to guess what happens or something, maybe earlier in the day or something.
I mean, it is Sunday,
Yeah.
and it's Friday right now.
Yeah.
Kind of unlikely.
Oh, yeah. It is pretty late in the week. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
This week flew by.
Yeah, I know. I was by myself the whole time.
I know.
Really
Sorry,
depressing.
Maddie.
Really depressing. Anyways, have a great night. Peace.
Peace.